The legendary Steve Ditko on FANzine Live? Oh yes. Hey everyone, it's Tom. It's FANzine Live. Today we are looking at crowdfunded zines. This is a rather unique one, as many of the crowdfunded pieces are. We are looking at a legendary, and by that I mean capital L legendary artist named Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko, as you know, is the creator or co-creator, depending on how you want to look at it. I'm not getting into that discussion, of many of your favorite superheroes and characters in comics history. He had a significant say in the likes of creating Spider-Man, of creating the Blue Beetle, of creating a number of characters. The Question. He is, in the world of fans and fanzines, my first exposure to the classic fanzine, because as a member of the United Fanzine organization back in the 1980s, a gentleman, I believe named Bob Hall, made a zine called Ditko. And I'm just going to share with you some of the covers of these zines about Steve Ditko. These were pieces that were entirely devoted, these zines were entirely devoted to celebrating and exploring the world of Steve Ditko. Whoops, two copies here. The same thing. And they went into all sorts of detail about Ditko. And there was, of course, tons of fan homage art about Ditko, done by a number of fans. Some really neat stuff. And some fan created stuff. And in fact, then after Mr. Hall got out of it was Bill Hall, excuse me, not Bob Hall. Bob Hall is the Marvel artist. After Bill Hall got out of it, then it went on to, Ditko went on to Rob Imes, who is currently in the UFO, and he even, back in 2022, produced his latest issue of Ditko, up to 97 issues. Now, mine were back from issue 13 through 27, and then I've got number 97, but this is the latest issue of Ditko. So I'm going to post hopefully a link or something to see if I can get you folks in touch with Rob if you're interested in reading more about Ditko. Then we're going to get to the book in question today. Not the question, but in question. And that is Steve Ditko's Mr. A, The Lost Adventures from ditkoverse.com. This is a limited edition ash can. And one of the things I noticed about this was they said that his first piece with Mr. A, Ditko, was in the Wits End fanzine, of which I have the hardcover collection of the best of. And so we're going to first go here, because this is a reproduction of the first piece. Wits End was a fanzine created by Wally Wood, one of the original small press comics from one of the legendary creators, and he brought together some of the best creators in comics to work without creative restraint and create amazing work. And so if you ever get a chance, get yourself some old Wits End, because this is really cool. So That's the end of the Mr. A story. I don't want to go too deep into it. I really suggest you get it for yourself. Actually, there's a little bit here too. We'll take a look at that one. Actually, I'll read this part to you just so that you can get a sense of Mr. A and what he's about, because I was going to go into the character, but Steve does it for me. It says, "Fools will tell you that there can be no honest person, that there are no blacks or whites, that everyone is gray. But if there are no blacks or whites, there cannot even be a gray, since grayness is just a mixture of black and white. So when one knows what is black or evil and what is white or good, there can be no justification for choosing any part of evil. Those who do so choose are not gray, but black and evil, and they will be treated accordingly by Mr. A." What we've got here is a comic book cartooning sequential art interpretation of the philosophy of Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand, of course, being the heroine of many a politician who loves to be very extreme in their opinion. This is a view that some subscribe to. Ditko was an unapologetic supporter of Ayn Rand, as you can tell. He created Mr. A to embody that discussion. Because in his opinion, the reason for A is that he goes by the philosophy of A is A, good is good, evil is evil. A is A. So that's the beginning of Mr. A. Mr. A was toned down by the folks in mainstream comics. Ditko knew that this wouldn't sell on the marketplace, that it could end up being too violent, too extreme. And what he did instead was he took the basics of Mr. A and he turned it into the character at Charlton known as the Question. But Mr. A was the one that really expressed his opinion. This is Mr. A, The Lost Adventures. First thing you automatically notice when you look at this in comparison to the other Mr. A stuff that we just saw was we have color. But Mr. A is white. Why? Because white is good. Mr. A is good. The mask that he wears never changes. You'll always see the same blank expression, but he is good. This is the first of 3 issues. Standard comic book size book. Has a little bit of a, well, actually, no, I was going to say it's a cardstock cover, but it's really not. It's just the whole thing has a very heavy paper stock, and it's all gloss. The print job, I've got to say, is not great. And I tell you that saying this. If you look at this masthead, you will see that we are looking at just over ½ an inch on this side of the masthead. You go over to this side, you are looking at just under 3/4 of an inch. There's an angle on this. Everything is slanted. It comes in even more vividly here. You can see that the printing was not great. This is done at an angle. That white there is not the pages showing up behind. That is a mistake in the printing. And in my mind, being that this is a low-run ash can, I don't mind. Also, I don't mind by the fact that this is Steve Ditko's art. I guess I'll just come out and say it. I don't subscribe to Ayn Rand. I don't particularly like her philosophy. I don't agree with her philosophy. As such, I don't really agree with Steve Ditko's philosophy behind Mr. A. I actually appreciated Denny O'Neil's rewrite of The Question, which took out the Randian philosophy and imbued a different philosophy. I enjoyed Denny O'Neil's Question and the motivations behind it much more than Steve Ditko's. However, I love Steve Ditko's art. I love his creativity. I will admit that even though I don't like his philosophy, I like his storytelling. And so permit me, as a comics fan to say Mr. A is some great stuff. And this, my friends, being in color, done this way by, it was Mort Todd who helped out and did the colors, color by Mort. This is great. So I would think that as a piece of nostalgia, as a piece of comics legend, as a crowdfunded project, does it get much better? So these are some of the bad guys in the world of Mr. A. He decided that he needed to have more of a superhero type of approach to grab readers' attention. And so that's when he put in people like the Exploder and Messa Juby. We've got full color Mr. A. He always has his black and white card, and the white turns to black when it's in the hands of a bad guy. And that's how Mr. A knows it's time to start cracking skulls. But anyway, you can see you've got all sorts of, you got violence against women. You've got all these bad things happening. I mean, look at I love how Mr. Todd did the coloring on the bruising. Really drives home the damage that was done. And then you see Mr. A wants nothing to do with that type of person. One thing I did notice is a scripting tool is that, and I've never seen this done with anybody else, Ditko uses a lot of symbols in his work. And I'm presuming that that is his way of staying clean in his own behavior, yet showing that profanity would be part of the vernacular of those who are on the black is black, black is evil side of the card. Love this piece right here. Look at the eyeball, the stress on the face, the strain, the sweat, and then the coloring to match it up. I like that too. That card went white, then gray to black. Really good dramatic color. The blue for the shadowing, the green to highlight, and of course, when things go rough, you get that kind of fiery red. So then they have a piece here, an introductory piece by Mark Ditko. Dedication to Patrick Ditko, brother of Steve. And then you get another story. So the first one was called The Best Deal. The second one is called The Exploder. Now we're into the world of the superhero villains, or the supervillains, and some of the bad things that happen there. Some of this artwork, and again, you have to remember that Ditko's work at Charlton was the basis for Watchmen. A lot of this reminds me of the 9-panel grids that Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons utilized to such powerful results with Watchmen. But then if you have the 9-panel grids, and then you have the extreme coloring like you have with this character who was Messa Juby. I mean, that looks almost like a Dave Gibbons piece right there. And Mr. A and The Question, of course, were the inspiration for Watchmen character Rorschach. Love this piece right here. You want to talk about some really great looking artwork. And then the coloring mixes in perfect because you've got the abstracts in the background. Almost has like a Question meets Doctor Strange meets alien invaders from space look right there. I love that. You can't help but admire it. And look at this action sequence. Then we wrap it up with The Knifer, another one of those supervillain types. In every single story that Ditko told, good was good, bad was bad, gray was bad because it had bad in it. And you always had black is black, white is white, good is good, evil is evil, and good fought evil. Look at this last page. He's got his knife. He laughs. He throws the knife. Mr. A. To be continued. Awesome. This is really exciting. There's stuff at ditkoverse.com. I'm going to put this link in the show notes so you can take a look at it. I don't know if this is available on their website as I record this. If it is, I definitely will post a direct link so that you can pick up a copy yourself. But take a look at the stuff at ditkoverse.com. Steve Ditko, for his, and I just have a difference of opinion on philosophy with him, for his differences to what I have, there is no doubting he is an artist of consequence, an artist of value. And Mort Todd really brought it home with these amazing colors. This has been FANzine Live. Let me know what you think. Do you have any Mr. A of your own? Do you have any thoughts on Mr. A? Do you have any thoughts on Ditko? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, tell your friends, because I don't know of anywhere else on the internet where they've taken a look at the lost adventures of Mr. A. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Tom. This has been FANzine Live Crowdfunded Zines. I will catch you next time.